Chronicles of Hope is essential reading for seekers of inspiration and spiritual empowerment. This series offers nourishment for those on a path of increased awareness at this challenging time. Inspired by higher sources of wisdom, Chronicles of Hope delivers messages to lift your spirit with a roadmap of hope and guidelines for living a life of expanded consciousness. The guides offer powerful insight for mental, emotional, and spiritual growth at this critical tipping point for humanity. The message is clear. We must change. We have the power to raise our vibrational energy individually and collectively before it's too late. I am Lois Herman, author of the best-selling Chronicles of Hope series and host of the Inspiring Hope radio show at WSMN.live or 95.3 FM. You can find me at loisherman.com or chroniclesofhope.net.
Welcome to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman, a leading expert in professional coaching, clinical hypnosis, and energy clearing. Lois is an award-winning author of Chronicles of Hope. She has decades of experience in advanced hypnosis techniques, has conducted highly effective success coaching programs that have helped clients discover ways to achieve success, empower themselves, their families, as well as holistic practitioners to expand their practices. Get ready to be empowered with your host, Lois Herman.
Hello and good day, and welcome to Inspiring Hope. I am your host, Lois Herman, and I'm here to inspire you with positive messages and celebrate people who are making a difference in our world. When we focus our thoughts and energies on truth, honesty, and integrity, we create powerful shifts that cause us to be more positive and peaceful. As we lift our energy, we empower everyone around us. If we each do what we can to make small shifts in awareness, we create ripples of hope. Join us as catalysts for positive change for our families, our communities, and our world at large. And I hope you're inspired by today's show. And my question today is, what can you do to protect yourself from toxic exposure? I'm a huge proponent of energy protection, and Team Hope and I just completed an 8-hour Lightworker Energy Integrity Training. This LEIT program focuses on energy protection, healing, and empowerment as outlined in the Chronicles of Hope book series. Even before the books, years ago, Archangel Michael advised us to ask for assistance first across all levels: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, psychic, social, professional, financial, relational, technological, environmental, political, medical, educational, and more. Can you see how each of these areas has been under attack in our world? What if we had the awareness and the tools to protect, heal, and empower ourselves across each of these areas? Starting with physical protection, we who live in the North Country wear boots and scarves and hats and gloves and coats to protect us from inclement weather. Those who live in hurricane country have the skills to board up their buildings and escape routes for safety from the fury of the storm. And let's just send a prayer to all of those who suffered in the wake of Ian and Fiona. These storms really wreak havoc with the people. And those in Tornado Alley have basement shelters to securely weather from those storms. There are many tools and techniques that we should all use to protect from the unseen toxic elements that we're exposed to. And for mental protection, we need to turn off the TV and refuse to be programmed by fear-based hypnotic suggestions that are bombarded at us day after day. For emotional protection, we must unplug from the negative or self-serving people who are hurtful based on their incomplete levels of awareness or own personal selfishness. What should we do for the spiritual and psychic attacks that we're all under? In this battle of good versus evil, we must protect from toxic spiritual exposure. In this Lightworker Energy Integrity Training program, we give specific steps you can take to set sacred space, clear your auric energy fields, and balance your chakras. Our incredible team shares their own secrets for protection in 2 question-answer discussions as well. For those aware of the importance of protecting your spiritual energy, your life force energy, you really must watch, listen, and absorb these information-rich video modules on your own time. You can find this reasonably priced intense training program at loisherman.com/training. And be sure to sign up for our newsletter to receive other timely updates. In addition to protecting the spiritual self, we know there's been transmission of disturbing energies that we've identified in the auras of people since the jab first came out in 2021. We have consistently found orange, murky, muddy auras with metallic sparkles and spots in everyone. Those who've had the shot and others who have somehow come in contact with them. Consider that graphene oxide causes the orange, murky tinge, while the injected prions, nanobots, and other artificial elements create the metallic sparkles, spots, and bits. We've identified other non-organic parasites and EMF-responsive elements in hundreds of cases. Our guides have given us the exact steps to clear, balance, and protect our auras. Our mission is to teach you how to do this too. If we have time at the end of the show, I'll be glad to walk you through one of these exercises. Meanwhile, when you subscribe to our newsletter, you receive dozens of tools, including audio and video recordings of the sacred space and energy clearing processes. There are many other people who are noticing similar situations in our energy fields and are doing their part to help people clear the shedded or transmitted toxic elements. Liz Kendall noticed something was amiss with her energy and started investigating. Based on her research and what she discovered, Liz developed her own special line of Shungite soap products. She's with us today to share her story about how she came to create her Carbon Noir Soap Company with an amazing product line that specializes in Shungite.
There's a brokenness inside of you. There's a wound that still reminds you of the fear, shame, and rejection. You've seen it, you've seen it. You know it's time to get up, but your heart's paralyzed, you're so stuck. You're past the point of trying again. You're defeated, you're defeated. There's something inside you can't deny. You hear the call of your creator. I made you for more, unlock the door. I wanna restore your glory. So rise, breaking the dark, piercing the night. You're made to shine. An army of hope, bringing the world a radiant light. A radiant light. You were made to rise, lift your head and look around you. See the dreams you lost, they have found you. And a heart that once was being.
Rise and Shine by Danny Goki. You are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman at WSMN.live or 95.3 FM. If you enjoy our content, please like, share, and subscribe to our Lois Herman Associates YouTube channel. Sign up for our newsletter at loisherman.com and join our community at chroniclesofhope.net. So, Liz, are you there with us? Good morning. Good day.
Yes.
Good day.
Good morning.
How are
Hi.
you?
I'm good. I'm a little nervous, but I'm here and I'm happy.
Oh, we're just
I hope
going to
everybody's
chat.
having a great day.
We are having a great day, even though up here in New England it's going to get down into the 30s tonight. So cool weather is
no.
upon us. Yes, but that's okay. We break out our scarves and our sweaters and our soulmate socks, and we're good. We got it.
Yeah, there you go.
So tell us about your background. You have created this amazing company, but tell us what happened before. What led you to do this sort of thing?
Yeah. Okay. So I guess it goes back a couple years ago. In 2017, I was injured from essentially from pharmaceutical drugs and a surgery that caused me to not go to work anymore.
Wow.
Physically, like I was bedridden for almost a whole year.
Really?
Yeah, and I went through, like the dark night of the soul.
Yeah.
I went through a very dark period where I had to relearn who I was, how to live, how to eat, how to think. It's as if something bad happened, but that was really God and the universe working in my favor because I wasn't necessarily on the path of who I should be.
And this was based on a pharmaceutical situation?
Yes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it's okay. I'm still here now.
And I might add, you also have 3 children. So
yes.
how on earth did you manage that?
Oh, a lot of prayer.
Yeah.
A lot.
Wow.
It's like I said, I've had to do a lot of emotional, mental, and physical healing.
Yeah.
So, it was difficult, and I wish I would have, not had to go through all that and learn, the same things that I've picked up over the years in a different way. But, that's not always how life works.
Some of us do learn best from our mistakes and from our
right.
Actually, one of the archangels says that is how we learn, through challenge. If we have a real passive life, that's a wonderful thing. However, we don't learn. We learn through growth. That little seed that pushes its way out of the shell and out of the ground to grow.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot of energy, a lot of work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, so this whole ordeal that I've been going through, I've felt very guided. I've actually had some strange things happen to me over the past few years that have been, definite validations for things. And one of the biggest themes that kept reoccurring, I just had this urge to look into crystals, but not just crystals. It was specifically involving frequency.
Okay.
And energy and EMF.
Mm-hmm.
And, the more that I learned about crystals, I eventually stumbled upon Shungite.
Mm-hmm.
And so I initially started selling crystals for a little Etsy shop that I don't have anymore. And then I just decided, because Shungite is so important, that there's so many studies done on Shungite. People have won, this. I'm looking at a study right here. It's titled "This Nobel Peace, or no, not peace. This Nobel Prize-winning molecule could be the best thing for anti-aging." There's been numerous studies done on it, but unfortunately, I never see it anywhere. So I decided this is too important to stay like a secret. And, I developed cleansing bars. I actually, just this past weekend, I developed a hair care bar. I know that was something that I've been talking about for a while, and I talked to you about that earlier as well. So I'm offering that as well.
So tell us about the whole Carbon Noir. Tell us about, you've got a pretty intense scientific process going here. This is not just, oh, la, la, this is cool. You've really put a lot of thought and investigative scientific research into this about the carbon. Can you
Oh,
go
yeah.
into that a little bit?
Yeah. Okay, so first, I guess I should say, let's talk about Shungite real quick.
Yes, please.
There's three different types of Shungite. There's the regular, and then there's Petrovsky, and then there's LEIT Shungite. The only difference is the percentage of carbon that is in it. The regular has about 30 to 50%. Petrovsky has 50 to 70, and LEIT has the most, like 90 to 98% carbon.
Okay.
What I use in the soaps is like a dust from regular Shungite, and I also carry LEIT Shungite stones in my shop as well. And let's see. Okay,
so these three differences. How does that impact the human body? Because it's carbon, right? And we're carbon beings.
Right. Yes. So hold on a second. Let's see. Okay, so fullerenes. This is where the science part of it kind of gets a little confusing for a lot of people. So I'm going to try to keep this.
Explain
easy
it.
to understand as
Explain,
possible.
because some people can research it. So explain it because you've got a pretty in-depth knowledge about it. So how would you explain this?
So what makes Shungite really important is it's the only thing that we have found in nature to contain carbon fullerenes. And the two main or important ones that are found in Shungite is C60 and C70, but I'm going to focus on C60 today. So how that works is essentially what that is it kind of looks like a soccer ball.
Okay.
It's a geometric cage, if you will. And so how that works is essentially that cage absorbs toxins and things like that. Like, so it gives it an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effect, and it can also absorb contaminants in water as well, including fluoride and viruses and bacteria and things like that. So I'm sorry, I have some studies here. I'm trying to look through those so I can read. So an interesting study that was done for water defluoridation, they have found that it had a fluoride content initially of 9.1 milligrams, and that was from artisan water from Ukraine. And just having the stones just sitting in the water for 5 minutes decreased to 0.9 milligrams.
Wow.
So it went from 9.1 to 0.9.
Wow. And this is just with the stones
for
placed in the water.
Yeah. And I have studies right here. I'm going to post all this to my website because I do have some studies posted now, but I found a lot more interesting ones. You can also use the powder in your garden as well. It's been found that Shungite treated plants are healthier. They have darker leaves. Even if, there was a study that was done in comparison with Shungite treated plants versus plants that were not treated with Shungite. Both were withheld water for 21 days. Obviously, the one that wasn't treated with Shungite didn't do too well, but the one that was treated with Shungite did exceptionally well.
Now, this would be if I were to take my water pitcher that I would water my plants with or spray my plants with and put a Shungite crystal in the water. Is that right? Is that how you would treat the water?
Well, this study in particular, I think what they did was they mixed actual shungite powder in with the dirt.
I see.
But that would definitely have some effects as well.
Okay.
If nothing else, it would remove anything bad from the water that you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
And your plants, because essentially then you're going to eat that.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we're carbon, so this is basically
right,
eating, more, a carbon-based mineral. So how you
Yeah.
mentioned your website. How can people find your website? What is your website?
My website is www.carbonnoir, and that's NOIR, soapcompany.com.
Okay. And I want to share a story how I came to know about you. Is my good friend Anne, when I went on the Truth Tour to Harrisburg, she drove by my house and she said, "Here, you're going to be around a bunch of people you don't know, a lot of different vaxxy people, we call them." And she said, "You need to take a shower. We use this soap afterwards." And she gave me this beautiful bar of black soap. And she said, "Don't worry, it'll be kind of messy, but it'll come out." I'm like, "Okay." So I'm staying in Harrisburg at this lovely woman's beautiful home, and I get up the next morning, and I decide to after we're around all these wonderful people, I decided to use this Shungite soap, and she had a beautiful white washcloths in her bathroom. So I lather up the washcloth and I look down and it's pitch black. I'm like, oh my goodness. And so the black was everywhere. And I couldn't wring out the black from the washcloth. It turned, even rinsing it in the water, it turned, a gray. Now I felt really tingly, felt fabulous. But what I ended up having to do is I brought her the washcloth and the soap, and I gifted it to her, and I said, "I'm so sorry. I think I kind of destroyed your washcloth, but here's the soap that did it." And she said, "Not a problem. It'll all come out." And she knew about that. And you're right. And Anne said, "Oh yeah, it washes right out." And so it was very interesting at the time. It's very alarming to have this black that comes off of this soap that is everywhere.
Yeah.
But it really leaves your skin feeling fabulous afterwards.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is one thing to forewarn anyone if they use mine or anybody else's Shungite soaps. It will leave your sink or your towels black, but it will not stain. It's not ink. It will wash out. It will wipe off. I promise.
I ordered more, and we use that regularly. So thank you.
Oh,
it's lovely.
You.
Yeah, and you were telling me more about all the ingredients in it too, all the different amazing ingredients.
Yes.
But I sidetracked you. Yeah. You were talking about the technology. I'm curious, why did you end up even investigating this? So you were hospitalized, or you were bedridden, and what made you decide to look at Shungite? What started that?
Well, it's like I said, I on one hand I felt really guided to keep, it's just like this urge, like, okay, you're reading about it, but keep going. It's just the urge that I had to just keep going, keep reading, keep finding out about it. That it's almost as if like I knew there was something to learn, but not really exactly sure what. So the more I've found out about Shungite, it's like a light bulb went off.
Wow.
This needs to be way more widespread and general knowledge, because not just topically speaking, but you can ingest C60 and it has a wide range of health benefits. So it's Shungite is so important, and I just really want it to get out and known.
And that's what the guides are telling us. When you think you know everything, that stops your learning. So you went into this with a purely open heart and open mind to learn, and look at what all you have found, and now you're sharing it with the world, which is fabulous.
Yeah. No, thank you. Another big component in this is that you know, after I got sick, I had to change a lot about my lifestyle. You know, I had to get incredibly picky about the foods that I ate. And so the more I became, you know, more aware of that, it kind of bled into other areas of my life. Like, well, what's in this detergent? What's in this soap? What's in this toothpaste? You know, it kind of bled into every area of my life. And, you know, I'm literally cleaning up my life, you know. And that's kind of how I came into all of this.
Yeah, I know. I went through not quite as dramatic as what you went through, but I definitely had autoimmune issues and flare-ups with nasty rashes on my hands. And my body is very, very hypersensitive to any type of chemical. I can't even use the beautifully fragrant soaps and lotions and stuff like that will cause me to rash. So, and you know, I'm using, I only use vinegar in my wash for rinse, my laundry rinse. I'm very, very cautious about any and all products that I use. Simple, even to the point of using coconut oil for lotion and baking soda. The right baking soda, because you have to pay attention because some baking soda has aluminum in it, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So that's what I use for for brushing my teeth. But it's been very interesting. Like you, I've been on a journey of getting back to healthy, holistic, and why are all these weird ingredients in our products? What specifically are they doing there?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just to the point, if I don't automatically know exactly what that ingredient is, and I know that it's not something natural, I don't want it, and I don't buy it anymore.
Yeah, one of the things that Archangel Michael said in Book 3 is that your body can heal from all things of nature. It gets sick from things not of nature. I mean, he told us that. And there are a lot of things not of nature that we're exposed to in our food, in our water, in our air, in the products that we use, our cosmetic products, all of that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also, you know, the whole EMF factor. Now, I know depending on who you talk to, there's a toss-up on whether or not Shungite actually does help with you know, the frequency EMF. But I did find a study in the International Journal of Advanced Scientific and Technical Research that let's see, it assists with radio shielding and radio absorbing properties to reduce levels of electromagnetic radiation with a frequency of 10 to 30 gigahertz and electrical fields with a frequency of 50 hertz.
Wow.
So whatever that means, but these findings have allowed people to use and you know, creating electrically conductive thermo paints and, you know, building materials and things that it's used for that purpose. Mm-hmm. You know, to protect from things. So, like me personally, I always wear a Shungite pendant every day. I never take it off.
Well, I know that that there are amazing people who have done these very technical studies. My team tends to get a lot of insight from our guides, and they've been telling us also to use Shungite. And when we're and this is etheric Shungite. I mean, what your intention is key. So this is going to sound a little funny, but those of you who get to know me know that I admit that I am strange, I am weird, I am unique, and I claim it. I embrace it.
It's my kind of person.
People who get me. Those that just give me the eye roll, walk away, that's fine. Someday they might. But when I see one of those ugly towers, I have this imaginary game that I play, Shungite shields up. And I just imagine that I have a Shungite shield all around me. And we do that when we set our sacred space. We've now been given the Shungite shield to put around to block the EMF, because we have discovered that there are nanobots, and we're just calling them bots, and strange different particles in people's energetic being in their aura that do respond to EMF, and they just like zip 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 around the body. So we clear them out, and we have been using the Shungite as like a Shungite cloth to wipe them out of the body. So that's one of the things that we've been teaching people to do. And again, we're constantly learning. We've learned so much over the past couple of years, and yet again, but wait, there's more, because it is amazing how many different types of nefarious ways have been dreamed up to try and interfere with our high frequency vibe, our innate beautiful vibrational frequency. And
Yes.
and
Yeah.
so hats off to you for doing the heavy duty research. That's really cool.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you
Yeah.
sell different types of Shungite. You call it Shungite. I'm going to have to make sure that I'm saying it the right way.
Yeah.
And then your soaps, and now your shampoos. And I was surprised. I was only using it when I was around what I call vaxxy people. But you say you use it on your face. You use it for everything because it. So tell us
Yeah.
about the contents in your soaps.
Okay. Yeah. So obviously it has the Shungite powder, and then I also put bentonite clay in it to help your body absorb, not absorb, but I guess pull things out from your skin. I also put collagen in for the non-vegan versions, and raw honey as well. I also incorporate in all of the soaps, whether it's vegan or non-vegan, fulvic and humic acids.
What is that? What is that?
So it's a blend of organic and natural compounds.
Okay.
A lot of people use it for their gardens because it feeds the dirt essentially.
Okay.
It's just really good for your physical health. Some people do ingest it as well to help with inflammation and immunity. But it's really good for your skin.
So are you saying I could actually eat some of my soap?
I wouldn't recommend that.
Okay. All right. We won't do that.
And then I also incorporate organic essential oils, and I actually added because I did just have orange, cedarwood, and mint, but I added rosemary, citronella, and eucalyptus as well. But people can also select unscented. Mm-hmm. And then it's the organic soap base. And I actually added another ingredient. This is brand new. I decided to add Bulgarian rose water.
Okay.
Because it helps with pH levels. It helps with anti-aging and acne and lots of other skin conditions and moisturizing. So I just figured that it would be great to add in with this, because I personally use rose water every day. So it's something that I've been thinking about. So I decided to put it in my soaps.
That's wonderful.
And the price has not changed.
Okay.
So the prices are still the same.
Yeah.
I also added a hair care bar.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pull that up.
And if somebody wants to have black hair, will it help with staining your roots and stuff like that?
Oh no,
I'm
no,
teasing you.
It doesn't. It might, like, so if you don't rinse it off completely, it might leave like a residue, like a grayish residue on your skin. But you can just wipe that off, and it will come right off.
Okay, I'm teasing.
So.
Yeah. Well, this is what an adventure, and you're still on an adventure because you're in massage school, right?
Yes.
So are you going to be making a whole line of massage oils as well?
That is something that I would like to, but for that I would have to use just the C60 oil, because I don't want people to turn, to turn black, just look like they got smeared with black paint.
That would be a little
So,
alarming unless they had a shower afterwards, you know.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I definitely know that I feel my skin feels like almost tingly afterwards. It really is nice when I use your soaps,
Oh,
and and so
oh,
that you
good.
sell it. Do you still sell through Etsy or just on your website?
Oh, I still sell on Etsy. I haven't added the new hair care bar up there.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm going to because I want to draw people to my website because I also added a loyalty program.
Okay.
So it's essentially it's just for signing up. You get 50 points,
Okay.
and for every dollar spent, you get 1 point, and
Nice.
every 10 points is 10% off.
Nice. Okay.
So if people go to my website and sign up, then that could be ways for them to save. But Etsy doesn't offer anything like that.
Sure.
So
And I know that
yeah.
what I've done is I've added you to one of my resource partners on my website because I do love your product. And so if people
Oh,
are
thank
looking for
you.
the Etsy and for your website, you can just go to myloisherman.com, look under resources and partners, and you will find Liz and her Carbon Noir Soap Company. So
Oh.
tell us more about where you see yourself going with these products.
Well, my husband and I purchased a building a few months ago that we're going to use to turn into a family-owned spa. I would like to carry my line of products there and incorporate more in the future. But I'm also open to potentially being sold in other places as well. Um, I just want to go wherever I'm guided. I'm not in this for the money.
Mm-hmm.
I try to keep my prices low, but also so I can keep buying the supplies.
Right.
Because this is not cheap.
Yeah.
So I'm really picky about my supplies. But I just I wherever I'm meant to be, that I'll be happy to be there.
That's
You
wonderful.
know.
And you have a wonderful assistant too, don't you?
Oh yes, yes. It's actually both my daughters now. It was just my oldest daughter,
Mm-hmm.
but she's working with my husband now. So now my youngest daughter, she's helping me. So
That's
so it's like
wonderful.
it's a family affair. Everything is made to order, small batches.
Mm-hmm. I love that
And
it came in its own little box too. And that was nice, especially for travel, because it's in its own black box.
oh
And
yeah,
so
yeah,
that you can keep it from shedding or from stay not from I guess the word be shedding the dark to the other
right,
stuff
yeah,
too.
yeah,
So it's pretty
yeah,
fascinating
yeah,
how we as carbon beings, we've got to get back to our normal carbon footprint, our normal
right,
being. And that's one of the things that we recently learned, and Anne is the one that introduced me to you, and she and Christine and I and Mary, and Brian as well, we all do these journeys where we're clearing clients and getting information. And one of the things that we most recently were told is that the EMF exposure creates an imbalance in people's bodies that makes them more susceptible to dis-ease, be it cancer or autoimmune, whatever. So
oh yeah,
therefore, we hear people talk about limiting your exposure, and I'm guilty myself of being on my phone a lot or watching things on my phone a lot or on the
yeah,
computer, and we have to really go outside in nature just to reset, to get away, because it's designed to age us and designed to stimulate the disease processes. So there's a combination of the EMF with these other artificially induced products, shall we say, into our bodies that are not organic. that they
Yeah.
work together to create rapid aging and disease, so
Exactly.
that we become more dependent upon the pharmaceutical company and the medical community, so that we're padding their pockets.
Right.
So
It's a vicious cycle.
it truly is, and it's insidious, and it's devious, is how it's all been orchestrated, because there's a plan there when you start to look at it. And what we need
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
is to be as natural and organic as possible, right?
Exactly. Yes.
And that's what you
Yes.
discovered. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your daughters are all on board with this too?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They like on there's been some days where they've actually handled making the soaps and I've just supervised.
Huh?
So yeah,
Wow.
we're very much into this, like as a family.
I could see it's
Yeah.
your business, actually having people come and make soaps themselves. Teaching
Oh,
people how to make soaps, and
I would like that too. Yeah.
yeah, and then providing them maybe the ingredients or something like that. But when
Yeah.
people tend to appreciate more something that is handmade when they see or experience how it's made. And
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
And you make a good point there, and the psychology behind that. Oh gosh, I could sit here and talk about that and dissect that, like why people are like that. But you're exactly right. If I could bring people and show them what and why I put in, and have them do that for themselves, there's a level of self-care there, and it's not so much of here's a bar of soap, it's going to help you. If they actually understand why and what those ingredients can do, that might respect it and take it a little bit more serious.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure you've run into this as well. When I try to talk about things like this, a lot of times I get a deer in the headlight.
Oh
But
yeah, the eye roll.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. But
yeah. But it's very real.
it's very
Very
real.
real.
When and I was just having a conversation with Art about that. When your eyes are open, you can't unsee it. But
Exactly.
for people whose
Yeah.
eyes are not open, they're blind to it, and they
Yeah.
don't, they just gloss. You're right, deer in the headlights. They gloss over, and someday they will wake up. We hope, before it's too late. One, but we are those of us who are waking up and are here for each other, and validate and recognize one another. That's really critical, because everybody has their own gift, their skill, their talent, their mission. And
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
loving meeting all these people in this community who have their passion. Like you have a passion for the Shungite products. That yeah, I have some Shungite products. I definitely have. I have a Shungite bracelet I wear. I have, I do have, and I've been using the soaps. But to actually listen to you talk about it makes a big difference for me in my way of being able to share with other people.
Oh well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, you're here for a
Thank you.
reason, and that's what you were told, right?
Yes. Yeah. 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 I've like I said, I had some weird things happen. Yeah. I've received messages, while I'm fully awake, about certain things, and help, being guided, being pushed, to keep going and don't stop,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Yeah, it's very special to me.
And it's that drive, that inner drive. Just like,
Yeah,
when did we
yeah.
talk? Tuesday, I think. And you said, well, I've been thinking about doing this hair product. I have something that I've been using for myself, but I've been thinking about doing it. Look at that. Okay, that was what, 5 days ago? Now you've made a product?
Yeah,
That blows me
yeah,
away. That's
yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you really motivated, and like you're talking about how I'm kind of validating what you know and believe and appreciate in Shungite. You're helping me validate myself as well, just by showing interest. So thank you for that.
Oh.
And just for a moment, the hair care bar, I put Shungite in it, fermented rice water, rose water, and mango butter, and fulvic and humic acids, and then it's the organic soap base, and that's what I have for the hair care bar. If anybody is interested in looking that up, I have more information on my website.
Wow.
So
And
I didn't want to have the abrasive bentonite clay in there, for people to rub on their head. That might hurt a little bit.
yeah. But the bentonite clay is good for many different things, and people do
Oh yeah,
ingest that. So that's a whole nother. So many of these different products I've learned over the past couple of years in helping with my own organic path. So much more to learn, and so meeting so many people who have their niche passion, and it's fascinating to hear more about it. So thank you.
Yeah.
And you said
Thank
you
you.
were guided to help children. Was that not? There was something about helping the children.
Yes. It's kind of hard to explain. I'm still trying to figure out a lot of things from my own life. Growing up, I had a lot of strange happenings, but I always had this theme of oneness and protect children. And I know we were about it, and about how you had this insight about how, well, we're all God's children, and you're exactly right. And it's been kind of sitting on my mind since you said that, and I think potentially I took that message a little literally growing up.
Yeah.
But I actually feel like you're onto something,
Yeah, I had a similar situation when I'd gotten my Reiki master teacher back in, goodness, it must have been 95. I was working for Hewlett-Packard and traveling. So I was traveling to Kyoto, Japan, to do a clinical investigation. And any time I would travel, I would always give myself an extra day. Number one, to acclimate to the time and distance, etc. But number two, because I thought, well, I may never be there again. And I'm so glad that I had developed that philosophy, because I may never be there again. So that on this particular day, I was there, and again, I was doing clinical investigation. So I was by myself with an engineer who was from Kyoto, so he was off with his mother, and I went to the deer park, Nara, the deer park, which is actually, it has the temple that has the largest Buddha in the world, and it was coincidentally at the day of a national festival, and there were seas of children, and of course back then I had kind of big permed red hair. My hair is naturally red, but it was permed, and I'm tall. And here are all these little children with their different colored beanies, and there'd be the group with the red beanies, and a group with the yellow beanies, a group with the green and the blue, and the teacher would have a flag, and the children would come running up to me and say, they're practicing their English. Hello, how old are you? And they giggle and then run back, and it was just so delightful to be at this deer park. The deer would walk up and just really eat right out of your hands. They were protected, and it was a beautiful experience. So I was reveling in all these children and the beauty of the park, and just all of this. I'm standing at the foot of this Buddha at the top of on the steps of the temple, looking out at the sea of children, and I hear this voice say, "Take care of my children." And I turned around and looked, and there was nobody there. And I thought, no, that was weird. And so I just sort of shrugged it off. And standing there again looking, and I heard a very, very loud, booming voice, almost like it was coming out of a amplifier, take care of my children. And I'm like, okay, I got it. I have no idea what that means, but I got it.
Mhm.
And that was my very first connection with spiritual guidance, shall we say. And at the time, like you, I was taking it literally. I'm thinking I need to be doing something for children. But over time, I realized that we are all God's children, and many of us, that child
Right.
inside is wounded. That child
Oh,
inside
yeah.
is crying, is in pain based on something that happened in their life. So when we take
Yes,
care of that inner
exactly.
child, we are taking care of all of our children.
Exactly. Yes. Can you imagine a world where everyone's inner child is healed? Oh.
Wouldn't that be
But I guess,
lovely?
yeah, we have to earn that, right?
Well, that's part of the learning. And yet, if we protect our children, in this day and age, so many children are being really abused in so many different ways,
Hmm.
mentally, emotionally, all of the
Yeah,
above. If we
physically,
protect
yeah.
our children, maybe we will be able to move into a society where they learn their lessons, maybe like in the native ways, by way of working the land. I mean, there's still, you
Right,
have to work, but it's a different type of work, and they develop an ethics, a sense of community, a sense of camaraderie, a sense of true connectedness with
right.
nature and each other.
I love the way that you think because I'm 100% with you on that. I don't I do believe lessons are definitely essential,
Hmm.
but I also don't think that we need to totally destroy our lives
Right.
in order to learn a lesson.
Hmm.
You know, I'm with you 100%. There's better ways to live our lives and learn our lessons. We don't have to live our lives so toxic to ourselves and everybody else and the whole world around us. You know?
And those of us who are living through this at this time are becoming the teachers and the way showers, so that we are ushering a whole new world for our children and our children's children. That would be the goal, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And we're doing it. Each of us in our own
Yes.
way, we are doing it. And that has to feel good.
Oh, yes, it does. Yes. Yes. I definitely feel like the whole world is a collective. We are healing, and it seems to be like the higher level of awareness. We do have a ways to go, but you know, I'm optimistic.
Exactly. And I think we have to stay in that optimism when we see so many people that are being programmed to fear and to live in fear. They don't know any different.
Yes.
They're in a trance state. And when they come out of it and start to wake up to the beauty and the joy that's all around us, then they will have learned their lesson. We've all been through pain. Pain is a good teacher, because then we're teaching from our heart and not from something we learned in a book.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Well, we have a minute or so left. Do you have any last thoughts to share with everyone?
I just want to encourage everyone that no matter where you are on your path, keep going. You are loved and you deserve so much more than you think you do.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, listeners. And
Thank
until
you.
next time, look up, stay positive, and be the light in someone's day. God bless.